Welcome back to the Odyssey. I am Mike Odyssey. Guys, we have two major stories to talk about today. It's Friday, right? But I want to talk about these stories more in a discussion kind of way rather than just delivering the news to you, because what I want to do is I want to know from you, what do you feel about these two topics? How do you feel about them? What are your opinions? Because I want to go ahead and continue this conversation down below. More than anything, more than give you the news, I want to see what you guys think about it, and I want to go ahead and talk to you right now. Before, here's a little bit about me. If you already seen this part of the video, you can go ahead and use the timestamps below to continue to the. So before we get into today's stories, you see, I want to ask you one thing. I want to ask for your subscription. You see, I'm legally blind, and I'm basically losing my sight as we go. I don't have sight on my left eye, and I have about 40% sight of my right eye, and it's just fading away, right? The doctors right now have nothing else they can do. But I have a dream to become a full-timer on YouTube by the end of this year. And I want to ask you for your help. If you subscribe to this channel right now, it'll only take a second. For me, it'll just change my life. So if you could do that right now, I would really appreciate it. Here, we have Monday through Friday Nintendo news. On the weekends, we have products and reviews. And we also have the occasional in-topic podcast with your favorite voice actor. So I would really appreciate it. It would mean the world to me. And I just want to thank you in advance for giving me your subscription. Let's move on to today's stories. All right. So we are here now. And there are two major stories that basically broke over the last 24 hours. We know that yesterday, no Nintendo Direct happened. No partner showcase happened. We are literally, like I've said before, in uncharted waters. We don't know what Nintendo has planned, because something like this has never happened before. But then again, we are in a different type of year. We are in a transitional year. And so, well, we did have an Xbox presentation yesterday, which was really odd, right? Because normally one of those podcasts from Xbox, they last more than an hour. They have more within them than just one or two stories. But it looks like Xbox themselves, they basically wanted to just give this like last minute, right? And they literally just focused on what was driving the community mad, right? They were talking about the fact that Xbox was not going third party. They only have 4 games that are being ported that were first party to other consoles, and that's it. Their mainline games are staying first party. They will continue to make Xboxes and consoles. Actually, they actually dropped a huge hint that they were making a new console coming this holiday season, right? And so this led basically a lot of us to kind of come to the conclusion, Xbox did have this presentation and they have a really good relationship with Nintendo. And so this could be the reason that Nintendo moved their Direct, because maybe some of these 4 games were going to be present on the Nintendo Direct, right? And what would have happened if, with all of this outrage from fans, if the games showed up on the Nintendo Direct without Xbox clarifying that these games were the only ones that were going to other parties, and they were not going to be a third-party company, just like what Sega did. They stopped consoles, they became a publisher, and just became a third-party company, right? And so Xbox wanted to clarify this before anything. And so now we have, yesterday we had Jeff Grubb kind of confirm this in a way, stating that he has heard that the Nintendo Direct was moved intentionally to accommodate this Xbox presentation. And now, for those of you who might not believe this, Xbox and Nintendo have a great relationship. Actually, if you look at the headquarters for Nintendo of America and Microsoft, they're literally within walking distance of each other, right? And then Sony has theirs like really far away. But Xbox and Nintendo have always had a great relationship when it comes to partnerships. And so I believe that the Nintendo Direct was actually moved to accommodate this, so that when the Nintendo Direct did hit, these games that were going to be mentioned that used to be first-party games were announced, then the outrage and the backlash and all these rumors that were out there were squashed, right? Now, we have a credible leaker, Pioro, who is actually stating, yes, the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase is happening next week. Basically, he mentioned in the tweet that the Nintendo Direct partner showcase is actually happening next week, which basically already confirms everything we've been hearing, right, from Jeff Grubb, which is the first one who actually mentioned it, by the way. And so Pioro, who has I guess a perfect track record, is confirming that next week is the Nintendo Direct for Partner Showcase. And well, yeah, again, it is an odd year. It is a super odd year. And while things like this happens, dates are never set in stone, especially when something as big as what was happening to Xbox. Their stock market was dropping like crazy. People were selling off their Xbox systems on Mercari, on eBay for dirt cheap, because they were thinking that Xbox was going third party, they were going to become against Sega, and they were going to go bankrupt. And this was affecting Xbox to a point where they needed to issue this statement before these games were announced on any other console, right? And so that's where we are right now. That's what's happening with the Nintendo Direct, guys. I'm not going to tell you if it's happening or not. I personally believe, in a personal basis, I personally believe that this was the case. And I do believe Xbox and Microsoft Xbox and Nintendo have a great relationship. This could actually well be the case that what happened. No one can confirm this, just Nintendo. And if we do get that partner showcase next week, that'll be the ultimate confirmation, right? I'm not going to say anything. I'll just tell you, again, take everything with a grain of salt. Don't even, don't get excited. Just set your expectations really low, and let's see what happens next week. If it does, we'll be streaming it here. We'll be excited, and this will be awesome, all right? Now, that is going to do it for that Nintendo Direct topic. Now, we have another topic regarding Nintendo Switch 2 that boils my blood, because I just don't believe this news and why people are sharing this news. This is just, to me, a little ridiculous when we've had so many confirmations and so many incredibly credible leakers already give us some information on what's happening with Nintendo Switch 2. And then somebody out of nowhere that I personally have never heard of said, oh yeah, I've talked to 4 people and these 4 people told me this. I just don't know how I feel about it. Let's go ahead and go into the news here. And the sad thing is that people are picking it up. My Nintendo News is covering it. Video Games Chronicles is covering it. So I need to go ahead and just pass this information. But I want to make my intentions clear. And I want to make how I feel about it very clear, because I don't agree. Let's go ahead and go into the news. All right, so we are here at videogameschronicles.com. They are one of the major news outlets that are covering this what we call news. This is not called news. This is just a rumor from some guy nobody knows. And this says Nintendo Switch 2 could now launch in 2025. It's claimed. Okay, that's the best title ever. New reports suggest Nintendo's next console could arrive later than expected. Now, everybody who doesn't really understand what clickbait is, I can tell you exactly what clickbait is according to this article right here, because right now, as what we have read, it is making us believe that something is happening with Nintendo Switch 2, and it's, kind of the year 2025 is being thrown out there. Now, let's go ahead and read exactly what the news is. According to Brazilian journalist Pedro Henrique Lipe, don't know who that guy is, I don't think anybody knows, who claims in a new OX Do Controle video, I guess that's his podcast, that he received the information from 5 separate sources. Okay, I mean, I'm not sure why you need 5 of them. I mean, 3 is enough, right? 2, might as well get 6 if you got 5. According to the sources, they are working on games targeting Q1 of 2025 to launch alongside the console itself, which has eternally slipped out of previous 2024 target. Apparently, the console was delayed and it slipped out of the 2024 target to Q1 of 2025. Q1 is January, February, and March. The first 3 months of the year is quarter 1 of the 2025 year, right? And so previously, VGC reported that Nintendo was targeting the launch for its next console in late 2024, which, by the way, I don't believe it either. Per development sources, this was later supported by other outlets. The developer sources VGC spoke on Friday indicated that they were working on Switch 2 games planned for release early next year, but could not confirm that it meant a later than expected launch for the console itself. Okay, now we're getting up to something. Let's go ahead and read that again, because why would you put a title that will tell everybody and kind of scare everybody and make people upset that the console's being delayed when we're talking about some games that are scheduled to release in 2025, right? Two developer sources, VGC spoke right here, I'm reading right here, all right? On Friday, indicated that they were working on Switch 2 games planned for release early next year, but could not confirm if that meant a later than expected launch for the console itself, although the company is yet to comment publicly. Of course it not. Nintendo's successor was widely expected to launch this year, or is launched expected. We're kind of like, VGC is kind of going off the rails here with how they're reporting a little bit, and along with other people. I think Nintendo Switch 2 is such a hot topic that no matter what is reported, if some little cat in some little neighborhood says, "Oh, I heard something was happening with Switch 2, and my 5 friends told me it was happening," then they'll report on it because it is Switch 2. It gets to read the reads and stuff, right? And when it comes to, this stuff, if you are going to talk about it, be straight up with it. Don't make a title that mentioned that it's going to be delayed to 2025 when this comes from some developers who are working for some games that are launching in 2025. And again, they themselves mentioned that they don't think they can't tell you, they're not sure whether this means that the console is launching late as well, right? So Nintendo's next fiscal year runs until April 2025, which is another lie, okay? Nintendo fiscal year is from March to March, okay? It begins in March, it ends in March. Nintendo's next fiscal year will not run until April 2025. Nintendo's next fiscal year starts in April, okay? Starts in April and ends in March, okay? So because next year is the last month of this current fiscal year, the following fiscal year will start in this April of 2024, and end in March of 2025. It doesn't run until April of 2025. So could include a console launch even if it has been delayed into calendar 2025. I just don't know how I can, get to this news like that. First thing, I don't know. I think Video Games Chronicles needs to be more selective of what they cover. This is not completely accurate when we have so many other, credible resources that we've already talked about and trust because of their track record. Anybody from somewhere, oh yeah, this guy said that he has 4 friends who told him about something. This can't be the case, guys. This can't be the case when it comes to reporting news. And I'm telling you my honest opinion, how I feel about this news. I don't believe it. I don't think you should either. No, don't even take it with a grain of salt. Forget the salt. Just throw away the salt bottle. Throw away the salt can. Get out of the ocean. There's no salt to be used here because it's not credible at all. So we're good to go. I think Nintendo Switch is still arriving this year. I think we're still on schedule for us to see something good from Nintendo this year, or else we would get a full Nintendo Direct this February, because Nintendo still has so many months that are completely blank without games, and Nintendo has never done this before. Okay, the end of Switch games ends with March of 2024, next month, with Princess Peach Showtime, and then we have 2 games without a date that are still, I guess, under development, like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door and Luigi's Mansion that is scheduled for the summer, right? And so, yeah, it doesn't make sense. The news doesn't make sense, and when it doesn't make sense, I want to be the voice of reason and tell you guys, listen, this sounds like a bunch of malarkey, like a bunch of gibberish, and you should not take it, not even with a grain of salt. Throw away the bottle. Don't use it. Save it for another day. But this is not it. All right, friends. Let me know what you guys think about in the comments. I really want to know what you guys think, and we'll see you in the next episode here at the Odyssey. Before I let you go, never give up and journey on. Peace.